Credit for the method behind that epic intro goes to Western Australia Nerfer Peter Parker. Find him at the socials down below. He makes some epic blasters for the local Nerf community there. Now, for the past couple of months now, you've seen me start most of my videos with a 6-inch black cylindrical object in my hand. Rexfire's Akasha Super BCAR Nerf rifling upgrade combines 12-degree printed rifling with 6-degree bearing rifling, as well as having vent holes for any excess muzzle blast, which all combined makes the most accurate Nerf rifling in the world, which when coupled with any high-power Springer, then makes that the most accurate Nerf blaster in the world. You guys have seen all of my tests, and I've also had my inbox inundated with people who've been receiving their own. Across the board with a large variety of all different blasters, this seems to be an absolute game changer for the Nerf hobby. But that's not to say Akasha doesn't have its downsides. It's large, it's 3D printed, it's made by a one-man show of Rex over in Taiwan, so it can be hard to get your hands on one of these. Being a relatively scarce item and going on the end of your barrel as you run around out on the field, accidents can happen, and I've actually already damaged one of mine at the threads. That's where Sabre come in. Sabre have collaborated with Rex to produce a fully CNC metal version, which will be available from all of Sabre's distributors all around the world. Now, Sabre actually sent me 2 of these. My black one is the standard that everyone else has now, but my red one has some major differences that will make the testing very interesting later on. If you can guess what that difference is, comment it down below for the algorithm, but I'll reveal that before we get to the testing. Now, aside from that major difference with my red one, Akasha Axiom actually has 3 main advantages over the original Akasha. Firstly, durability. About half of you say you've broken or seen someone else break a Nerf rifling attachment before. As I mentioned, being on the end of a barrel, it's prone to knocking into things and damaging it. Akasha Axiom is made of 7075 aircraft grade aluminium for unprecedented rigidity as far as Nerf rifling attachments go. Buy once, cry once, as the saying goes. The crying being when the money leaves your wallet rather than the thing breaking. The second advantage Axiom has over the original is size and weight. Axiom is less girthy since it doesn't need strength through extra material. 6.1 inches long versus 6.8 of the original. They say length doesn't matter, but trust me, she can tell. Also, the metal one is actually a little bit lighter as well, weighing in at 111 grams versus 121. The third major advantage is going to be availability. I've put links down below where you can pick this up in the US, Australia, Singapore, Taiwan, Europe, and the UK. If you use the Out of Darts link or the Sabre link, those will help support my channel, but if it does help you, there's more local alternatives as well. Akasha Axiom comes in a variety of different colors, including the all-important orange for public games. Check out all the brand new color options at the Sabre link down below for batch 2, where they've also added knurling to the nut, which mine doesn't have. So they have actually improved it for the batch 2 as well. Now, before I actually get to doing the testing today, I anticipate that the Akasha Axiom should perform exactly the same as the old 3D printed original, and that's simply because the internal dimensions are exactly the same. They've even used an insert of plastic rifling inside of the Axiom, so even that part is staying the same material. So it's not going to change how it influences the darts. Another added benefit of that inserted rifling is you can easily hammer that out with a bit of barrel material in the back and insert some of your own. Sabre have made a blank version of that file available on their product page, so people can remix that, make it for lower FPS blasters, and coupled with the other change that my red one has, you could probably use this for HVZ. One other neat little change that Sabre have made over the original is that in addition to the threaded locking collar, they've added little grub screw holes which you could use to help further secure it to a very loose fitting barrel like Worker, for example, but I find that it's still tight enough without using those. So what you can do instead is actually use those grub screw holes to attach external shrouds, and Rex has already designed 3 different options for the Akasha Axiom. Sabre are selling the coolest looking one in my opinion, which is the round suppressor looking shape. So I'll put a link to that one down below as well. It just has screws go straight into those little thread holes on the sides. So for the testing today, I'll be comparing 3 different options. We've of course got the original Rexfire Akasha. We've got my standard black Akasha Axiom. And did you spot it? Did you get it right? My red one has smaller bearings than the standard option. common. Those smaller bearings will be available on Sabre's website if you want to pick them up, but I have already found in the chrono test that it increases the velocity of your blaster. So Sabre have titled the smaller bearings the high FPS option. I wouldn't say they're necessarily for high FPS, but they give you higher FPS. In a moment, I'll put all three of these head to head in a 30-meter accuracy test, but first, a quick look at those muzzle velocities. With Sabre 1.3 gram tournament darts over my Caldwell chronograph, the bare barrel with no rifling averages 320 feet per second with a very consistent standard deviation of 4.3. Rexfire's 3D printed Akasha drops that average due to friction down to 301, but improves the consistency to 3.6. Now, Akasha Axiom lowered that velocity slightly further to an average of 295, but it had a simply amazing standard deviation of 1.9. So perhaps there is something different here, better tolerances than a 3D print, possibly tighter rifling or something as well, lowering that FPS slightly more. It will certainly make the accuracy test more interesting than I was expecting. Finally, my experimental small bearing Akasha Axiom. It did indeed shoot faster with an average of 302 with an amazing consistency of 2.5, though a hair worse than the default Axiom. With such differences in the chrono results, I'm very excited to get started on the accuracy test. Okay guys, 30 meter or 100 foot accuracy test. Target is 1 meter in diameter. Doing the Akasha from Rexfire, the original 3D printed one first, and then I'll do the two metal ones after. Got the run cam, scope cam 2 on there. This is the 4K version, so I can slow it down a bit. Camera's recording at a higher frame rate, so it might look a little choppy when I actually do the slow down bits in the run cam. But overall, it'll give you a perfect view of where these darts impact on the target. Got my 4 mags loaded up with ZWQ magazines. They use a drum spring, so I'm not concerned with the darts getting squished at all as they sit there and affecting the results. Here goes with the original Akasha. Lovely. Zero might be a little bit to the left. Doesn't affect the testing at all. As long as I aim at the same spot every time, we'll get valid results. Also, I don't know if you can tell on camera, you probably can. I have a bit of a head cold at the moment. Any shortness of breath or any nasally sound is because of that. As for the intro I filmed with the help of Peter's guidance, I used baby powder in the end of the barrel there, just loaded a dart like normal. Although I did use HPA for that, I didn't want to ruin this barrel potentially. Last shot with the OG Akasha. Beautiful. Alright, let's swap over to the metal one. That is the black one, which is the standard version of the standard bearings. This one is a little bit tighter than the metal ones from my finding. Not that the metal ones don't hold on securely, this is just too tight to get off sometimes. It's actually how I cracked my spare one that I smashed earlier for you guys on camera. There we go. Metal Akasha, aiming at the exact same spot. Let's see how it does. I'm very excited to see this one. I mean, the shot's going around the same spot. Which, having the same internal diameters and everything, that's what you'd expect. And if it's just as good, then it is a more durable version. Which makes it better already in my books. Shout out to the RV next to us. Don't know if you can hear that on my sound cancelling microphone there. And last one. There we go. I think they're about the same, to be honest, which is what I was expecting. So now we'll take this one off. It is easier to remove, a little looser fitting, but still physically tight enough on the barrel that you can't pull it off when the nut's done up. Now we have this smaller bearing version, getting 10 FPS higher over the chrono, but will it be just as accurate? Let's find out. This could be more suitable to lower FPS blasters, but that's what we'll see. Oh, hitting around the same spot again. Not bad. It's actually hitting more to the center of the target for some reason. Alright, that one's off where the other ones were. It's still very good. It seems about the same, to be honest. And if that's the case, the smaller bearings might just be the way to go. Alright, that is all 3 Akashas done. Now I have one more challenger. This was sent to me from ZWQ. It is their attempt at a similar thing. It doesn't have any physical rifling in it, but it does have massive porting and then bearings after that. They wanted me to do a test, so here goes. This still doesn't even have a name. It's just ZWQ's new rifling. Hitting a little lower than the Sabre. Back near the center. Down near the first shot. Bit higher. It has a bit of a larger dispersion. Yeah, seems to have a larger dispersion than the Akashas. That one just spiraled wildly to the left there. Low and left. And back near the middle. First, the 3D printed Akasha from Rexfire. Mine survived a trip back from Taiwan in my luggage, and I haven't told anyone this part yet, but it survived being dropped in the dirt right before my first ever accuracy test with it. It's been used in countless gameplays, including when Novritz used it for an entire day, and it is still delivering the hits, shooting a 16cm or 6.3 inch spread. Still smaller than some male appendages. In comparison, my Akasha Axiom with the standard bearings had one shot drop low, making that technically a 25cm spread, but otherwise every other shot was 16cm as well, matching the original Akasha. Similar thing with the small bearing Akasha Axiom, one shot makes it 19cm, but otherwise they're all grouped up in a massive cluster of 16cm. Based on these results, I can happily say Akasha Axiom achieves similar performance to the original, while also having the benefits of greater durability, modularity in that people can modify both the bearing size and the inner rifling insert, and you can even customize it cosmetically. Axiom has a shorter length and lower weight, and it's vastly more available. Sold in the USA, Singapore, Taiwan, Australia, Europe, and the UK. Being 7075 aircraft grade aluminium, it does cost twice the price. So ultimately, that one is up to you. If you can see yourself ever accidentally breaking one of the Axioms, it is absolutely a worthwhile investment. If you're more of a slow, methodical player, or all you do is backyard plinking, you don't really need that durability and could definitely get away with the original from Rexfire on Instagram. Finally, to touch on ZWQ SWQ's ported BCAR that I tested at the end there, and to perhaps give notes to anyone else designing something similar, the Super BCAR category requires physical rifling at the porting. Otherwise, the dart is unsupported for that segment, which throws off the accuracy as shown. ZWQ's ported BCAR is actually a downgrade over the original. That said, I do look forward to seeing what people come up with in this new uncharted category of Nerf rifling, because at the end of the day, I personally want to see Nerf accuracy constantly improve. To improve yours, check out the links down below. Big shout out again to Peter Parker in WA for the method this test footage was shot using, and of course a big shout out to Rexfire for the original design of the Akasha. That's all I have for you guys today. Like, comment, subscribe, and all of that. Here's 2 other videos you might enjoy, and as always, thank you very much for watching. See ya.